G'day folks, and welcome to Gormo's Shed. Well, this morning I was out doing my constitutional in the boondocks around this area here, and I managed to come across this polystyrene box which I thought could be quite useful for scenery, because I'm working on scenery at the moment. And it's one of these things that some idiot has decided to throw out on the street because they couldn't be bothered to get rid of it properly. Now, you can't bring in legislation that will cover idiots, because idiots will be always idiots, and we'll always have idiots with us. So legislation can't cover that. So what we need is people like myself that walk around the street and occasionally see something that may be useful for myself, and I recycle it. With something this size though, it's difficult for me to cut, because even though I've got a couple of wire cutters that I made some time ago, they're a good size and they can handle flat sheets really well, and you know, 50mm thick, no problem at all. But you can see that this is my biggest one, and that's probably not going to deal with the box very effectively. I mean, I could fudge it, but it'd be okay, and then I could clean up what I do later on. So I thought, wouldn't it be good to have something that was a bit bigger and able to cope with some of the larger items like this box. So I've come up with an idea, folks, using my Black Decker Workmate, which I've had for a long time. It's had some good use, this thing. And these holes here are for the little pegs that you use to hold things on the Workmate, which happen to be 20mm, which is exactly the same size as this conduit here. And I thought, hello, maybe I can create some sort of a post here and have it up quite high, so that I can have an arm coming off it and a wire coming down to anchor in the table somehow, which gives me a great platform to work on. So I've worked out an idea, and I've got to build it yet, so I'll go through that with you. So I'm using the conduit, the Workmate obviously. I've got some nichrome wire here, which is RES80 from JCar. It's 0.322mm. So I've got nichrome wire, which is very good for hot wire cutters. I mean, I've used guitar strings before. The B and the E string is very good, but if you put too much juice through them, they go very brittle and break quite easily. The nichrome's much better for putting the current through. I've got some alligator clips and some wire, etc. And the arm is going to be a piece of an umbrella here, an umbrella strut. So sounds a bit weird, but we'll get into it and start putting it together and see how it turns out. I know as much as you do at this stage. Okay folks, this conduit, as I said, is a perfect fit for these holes here, but some holes are slightly tighter than others, but over time, being plastic, I mean, it's going to probably wear a bit and it would easily slip down. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a joiner on the end, and then I'll cut a short piece of conduit to go through the table, and that will stop it going any further through. Okay folks, I've fitted a straight joiner to the long bit of pipe, and then the table is actually 20mm thick, so I've cut off a piece of 50mm straight section and put that in the end as well. So now that will just fit into the table like so, and when you push it down it will only go that far. So there we are. And I've cut the length of the pipe to 450mm. I thought, well, you just got to start somewhere, so 450, but you can cut it whatever you like. Now the umbrella strut, folks, has got to reach from here to this hole up here. So it's way too long at the moment, so I'll just cut off the correct length, plus I'll add some more onto that just to give me enough to actually pass through the pipe itself and then allow me to bend it over. So I'll just take a punt at it. I'll cut it about there. Now up the top here, I'm going to have to drill a hole through the tube there, so I can pass the arm through there. And I want a nice tight sort of fit, so I'll have to drill the hole pretty much exactly the same size as the umbrella strut. Now before I fit the strut into the post, I'm going to solder up the end there so I can solder some wire onto the end. Now we'll just prepare the wire. Now we'll just feed the wire through the holes, folks. So I've got about, I'll tell you what, it'll be about 12 foot, which is about 3.6 metres of wire here. It's good to have a long lead on it so you can have the power source well away from where you're working. Right, so far so good. We've got it there in sort of temporary position. Now what I intend to do is fold this end, bend it at a right angle, and I might use some cable ties and tie it to the post here when I know the exact distance that I need. So I'll have to sort out the the other wire first before I can actually know exactly what length that I need to make that. But anyway, all's going good. Now folks, for underneath the Workmate, I've got this end cap which will be placed up underneath the hole, and this is meant to be an end cap that fits inside the end of the conduit, but it's actually it's a 20mm fit there, so it's just going to push fit up in under the Workmate. It'll make a lot more sense when you see it done. And what I'm going to do is drill a hole through that, and I've got this little 3mm threaded, it's actually a nail actually, as a post that's going to go through here, and then I'm going to fit a terminal block onto the post, which will stop the post moving up and down, and also it gives me a connection point for the nichrome wire. So we just add a 3mm nut to that little post, like so, and then that will go down inside the cap, and then I'll put a 3mm nut over the end of that to tighten it down, and the wire connection will also be made here with a further 3mm nut. The wire will be wound around the shaft there, and then another 3mm nut put on to tighten it down. Okay, now what I'll do now is I've got this terminal block that fits over the post, and I'm going to slide some nichrome wire down between the terminal block and the post. There's enough room to do it, and then lock all that down, and then I can add the wire connection on the back here as well. I've cut the wire, folks, and I've had to use a slightly larger terminal block. The other one was a bit too small, not enough room to get it all sorted out, but it just pops in there like that. Now that's a pressure fit in there, and I'll have to give that a tap to actually get it out again, but that's okay. Now that wire's got to be connected up to the arm here. There's a little hole in the end of the arm, and what I've done is I've got a little nail, and I've made this hook, if you can see that, that's just going to hook into the end of the arm, and I'm just going to pull the wire through the bottom bit here and work out the correct tension, and then wrap it around a few times, and that'll do. So I can unhook it from the arm. Now that I've got the wire in place, I'll stand a set square next to it so that I can get it. I can pull the arm back now to find a spot that's close to vertical. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just for cutting polystyrene, and it's not going to be perfect anyway, but that'll do. So that's fine. So I'm now at the point here where I can mark where I need to bend this bit of umbrella strut. I'll just make a mark on there, and I'll just bend that with a pair of pliers. So now all I've got to do is get a couple of cable ties around this, and that will secure it in place. I'll put another one up the top here. just to make sure. And just trim them off. Might actually go and put a couple more on the wire down to the base of the stem there, just to tidy it up, and it keeps the wire out of the way. I've also added the other power wire to the bottom with the extra nut. It's just, I soldered the end of the wire and just wrapped it around and then put the nut on to hold it. Okay, I've just soldered the wires to some alligator clips, and I'll be using a wall pack transformer, a plug-in type. It's 12 volts at 1 amp, so I'll connect these safely up to that, and then we'll give it a run and see how it goes. What we'll do, folks, is also set up a fence on here so that I can run the box beside the wire accurately. So I'll just get that set up and then away we'll go. Still a bit on the thin side, folks. I'm just scraping the inside wall. You can see I'm just cutting into the thickness of it slightly, which doesn't really matter. Because we're cutting through a fair bit here, folks. This is I'm actually cutting through the height of it. It wasn't my intention, but that's the way it's working out. I'll adjust it to do another one, but we'll just keep going here. Just let the wire do the work, the heat of the wire, it's not pressure, it's just the heat of the wire cutting its way through. Shorebit's doing it with a saw, which makes a lot of mess. I used to do that before, and this workshop used to look like a snowstorm had come through in here. Yeah, this is a much cleaner way to do it. Okay, folks, this is what's just come off. Now that's going to come in very handy, and I can get to and even clean this up a bit and cut the other sides off that box. So I've just noticed one of them looks like it's pretty thick actually, but yeah, that's how we go about it. So just to recap, so what we've done is we've got our 20mm conduit post here with a joiner, and then there's another piece underneath which allows it to sit in the top of the Workmate here without being pushed through. To that we've added a umbrella strut with a little, it's got a little hole in the end, if we can see that, and attached to that I've just got a little tack that's been bent over like a hook, and the wire, the nichrome wire, has been wound around that, and that goes down to the section that goes through the bottom there, which is an end cap for the conduit, and there's a post in there with a terminal block, and it fits in underneath like so, like that. And when you've got it set up on a work table like this, you can use a fence across the table so you can get accurate cutting. This is what it's done to this box here, and you can see that it's cut that off pretty well, and I've got to do the rest of it now. So there you are. Okay folks, I'll see you next episode. Cheers, Gormo.